Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. The name is CeeChronicles. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're here for the first time, my content is mostly fragrance review, fashion and lifestyle videos. So I do hope you will consider subscribing either now or after watching this video. I also want to acknowledge my returning subscribers. Thank you for the support. Thank you for always coming here and rooting for this channel. I have a fragrance review video for you today. Okay, I did a summary of the Maison Alhambra fragrances. I think I did a 10 or 12 in one video, and I'd said to myself, I'm personally gonna just let it rest because I'm not sponsored to do these videos, but lo and behold, Maison Alhambra decides to release like this this cracking line, like like a luxury line. So I just looked at this and I thought I should purchase it. I've had it for over a week now and I've been trying it for you guys. It was one that was a bit hard to pin down for me, but I think I have kind of like deciphered it. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about Maison Alhambra, their Amberley collection. Okay, there's 3 in this collection. I obviously have the red one, which is called Amoroso. Okay, Amoroso, that's the name of this one. I couldn't get my hands on the black or the blue one, but there's 3 in this line, maybe 4, I'm not sure. So I'm here to talk about Amoroso of Maison Alhambra's Amberley collection. This is how it looks. Okay, gigantic box. It's got this slip out cover. Okay, obviously for I guess for the purposes of making sure that the actual packaging is not maybe stained or something like that. So the outer cover is out of the way, and then we have this box. It's got like a four leather. It's obviously not real leather. It's got 4 leather. It's gigantic. It looks like a jewelry box, and then if you open it inside, you get that perfume. Okay, that is the perfume. There's a velvety touch here, and then it sits on this bed, which you can obviously remove if you want to repurpose this particular box. So this is what I'm here to talk about, guys. Enough said about the packaging. Let's go straight into what this fragrance smells like. So Amoroso, Maison Alhambra's Amoroso, okay, of their Amberley collection. I'd like to believe that this is like a luxury collection of them, although still, it does not translate to this being an expensive fragrance. It's just like maybe the more luxurious line of Maison Alhambra. I'm gonna spray it on my arm. Okay, let's give this one a spray here. Okay, I'm gonna spray it there, let it sit a bit. But like I said, have worn this for over a week, so I know what this fragrance is about. This is their 2022 release. Okay, so Amoroso is gonna have your rose there. That is what I can smell. As usual, there's no notes out there. Okay, there are absolutely no notes, nothing you can find about this fragrance. I am sure to say I'm probably the first person to talk about this particular line. Okay, there's nothing out there, but what I get is a rose, and I think there could even be 2 roses here, maybe a damasak rose, maybe a I'm just trying to make sure that it dries. Okay, that's how it looks like. It doesn't give an oily residue or anything like that. So maybe there is a 2 roses in here, for example, like I said, the damasak rose, or perhaps a Bulgarian rose or something like that. But you do get the rose in the opening, and then this rose is then followed by like a really spiciness. Okay, this fragrance was just doing my head in. I could tell what it reminds me of straight off, but I just didn't want to come here with a video that is not well thought. Okay, so you're gonna have that spiciness coming in there, something that feels a bit like black pepper, a lot of spices in here. A lot. There could be even cinnamon. I'm just going off my nose because there's nothing out there. Okay, and then something turns. Okay, after that spiciness, there's also that oozy kind of feel in the mid there. There's also a bit of some greenness, reminiscent of something that smells like jasmine. A bit of some soapiness as well. That's what you get in the mid, and then it dries down to like a rich, creamy, deep, almost incensey, rose, sugary. There's something there that feels a lot sweet. Okay, so in the dry down, you to expect a lot of like powderiness, a lot of like a bit of some muskiness in there. There's something as well that feels like a bit of some vanilla in there. So that's to rep it out. And there is a bit of some woods as well. So there is oud in here, but a bit of some woods. And just for the sake of those people that don't like oud, the oud in here is done like in a Western way, like a Cambodian oud. It comes across as just slightly oudy. What that rose does with the oud, I think it's there to kind of like, you know, soften the oud. So the oud in here, you could have some people saying, you know, this is a leather fragrance. It comes off as leathery, so leathery than or to just help you out. It's not like a typical really oudy thing. It is an oud that I think a Western kind of, you know, a person who's used to Western fragrances can probably carry this out. Okay, so it's gonna have that you know, fresh, spicy, rosy feel to it, a bit oudy, a bit woodsy, sweet and powdery. And then the opening, again, I must say, it feels a lot masculine. So in as much as it's marketed unisex for by Maison Alhambra, it feels a lot masculine in the opening. Okay, so that is the part that I needed to decipher, because, you know, I just had to kind of like feel this fragrance for days to kind of like, you know, open the pages of it to, you know, do my own mental shortcut. So it does have like a masculine opening, just slightly masculine. Or if you're a woman and you're used to niche fragrances, or you've had your nose on niche fragrances, you won't have a problem with this one at all, you know. But if you are not used to niche fragrances and you're used to your mainstream fragrances, you may find this one challenging, but that is in the opening. So, and the good thing about it, which may be bad, is, you know, it does give a promise of being like beast mode, but it does have like a really weak lasting power. You know, you get that vavavoom in the opening, and then it just starts to go down and down and down and down to a point where, you know, after like 3 to 4 hours, this fragrance could be a respray one. If you've got like maybe a hardened nose, or if you're used to so many fragrances, I wouldn't class this one under, you know, beast mode fragrances. It does have, again, that mintiness, okay, in the opening, which was actually confusing me, because the mintiness in the opening of this fragrance also kind of draws me to Oud Satin Mood, or the mintiness in Portrait of a Lady. There is that mintiness, a bit of herbalness in it. Okay, and yeah, definitely tricky to explain, but I'm just trying my best. Okay, and then it does have like the woods are there, but they're really soft as well. The rose holds on from start to the finish. Okay, I think it was the rose that did the trick here, because it kind of like moderates, you know, the oud and the woods. But I can see somebody saying this is a very woodsy fragrance, you know, but to me, I wouldn't really class it as a super woodsy fragrance, because there is that, you know, those florals that keep coming in there, you know, those florals that keep coming there, and just controlling everything to make sure that it doesn't get to a point where it's suffocating. Okay, and the effect that the florals have, they have a softening effect to what, if the florals would not be there, whether the rose or the jasmine or whatever florals they put in here, this would have been like totally a love and hate for others, because it does have like that borderline where it feels as though it's about to cross over too harsh, and then it just tones down, something along those lines. Okay, so yeah. The rose, again, is so thick, it feels dusty, it feels incensey. There's something in here that turns powdery as well, but it's very concentrated. So it's not going to be your light floral kind of fragrance. It is really concentrated, something that I see somebody preparing to wear for winter or even spring. But to me, I can do this even in summer. Okay, dries down powdery with a little bit of florals and soapiness, and in the dry down, that's when the feminine touch comes in. Okay, and when I say dry down, I'd say from about an hour or so, you get that floral softness, you know, pretty floral kind of dry down. Something in here feels so sweet. That sweetness holds on. It also feels a bit milky, caramelly, you know, that kind of vibe. That is what you'll get in the dry down. It does have a Middle Eastern thing going on, but it's not too much to a point where that is, if of course you've had experience with a lot of fragrances. I would say it's got the Middle Eastern touch. It's definitely not 100% Western. It's just right there in the middle. if you like Middle Eastern fragrances, it's got that Middle Eastern touch. It's going to remind you of Middle Eastern fragrances. But at the same time, it is one that a person who uses Western fragrances may tolerate. It is a very confident fragrance. It's not one of those fragrances you would reach out for, say, for comfort or something. It's an I am here kind of fragrance. It is a here I go, okay? It does have that room feeling kind of presence in the first, let's say, 20 minutes. After that, you know, people around you can smell you, maybe 2 meters range or something like that, or no, like arm's length, or 2 meters length, something along those lines. But that beauty doesn't hold on for long. It starts to really, you know, like really tone down, really like a drastic tone down. So I'd like to a point where this is what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is it is a strong fragrance, but I can spray it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not choked at all. Okay, I can even do 20 sprays. So it's one of those that if you want beast performance, you may need to overspray. Otherwise, it does not have a really, really strong holding, lasting power. Opens strong, but then quickly, you know, starts to go away. And it is one fragrance that also is sucked up, you know, by the skin, or at least my skin. Okay. So anyway, now back to the most important part of what this fragrance could be cloning, because a lot of people that come on my channel actually wait for that part. Now, this is why I always say, please do try to watch the entire video. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think this fragrance is inspired by. I think this fragrance is inspired by the Tiziana Terenzi, you know, the Comet collection. That's what I think. And to bring it closer to home, maybe the Wetana fragrance, okay, the Wetana Extrait de Parfum, okay. I'm not going to say it's 100% because obviously I don't have a side-by-side comparison, but based on just looking at this presentation, looking at the box, I'm going to try and put the Wetana box side by side, just looking at this, you know, and some of the notes that I seem to smell here, you know, are reminiscent of what is in Tiziana Terenzi's Comet collection, and Wetana in particular. But like I said, I stand to be corrected, but I'm going on what I can smell here, okay, and the presentation as well, because Maison Alhambra as a dupe house have a tendency of copying literally everything if they can afford to. I don't know how it then works out for them to copy all this and then to sell the fragrance for about 20-30 bucks. I don't get it. But you know, just based on that, I'm actually sure, or I'm almost sure, this is inspired by the Tiziana Terenzi, either the Comet collection or the Canto, you know, that Chico Canto collection. It must be inspired by that, but I'm leaning more towards Wetana Extrait de Parfum. Okay, now away from that, if you haven't used Wetana, Tiziana Terenzi's Wetana Extrait de Parfum, you haven't used that. If you haven't tried any of the Canto, the red collection, you know, that Chico Canto, the red collection, also by Tiziana Terenzi, to bring it closer to home, I would say if you like Portrait Old Lady, the minty vibe that you get Portrait Old Lady, you will probably like this. They're not the same, okay? I'm just giving you a mental shortcut. If you like Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle, it's got that minty opening and stuff like that, you'll probably appreciate this one. If you like Outside Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, you'll probably appreciate that because it's got that powderiness, slightly herbal, slightly, you know, spearmint touch there, which I get again on Outside Mood, and also maybe the Andromeda, the way the woods are done in Andromeda. Okay, so I know I've spoken about a lot of fragrances, but I'm trying as much as possible, considering that this fragrance is nowhere on the internet, to give you a mental shortcut. And obviously I don't own everything that was ever made, so I can only tell you based on what I have used. Okay, now to my Middle Eastern fragrance lovers, one fragrance that I have within my collection that kind of has a similar vibe with this one is Asdaf's Shamawad. So if you've bought Asdaf's Shamawad or you've used it, it's really entirely up to you if you want to add this one to your collection. This one is obviously going to give you more depth. It's going to give you more sweetness, thickness, more incense, more herbalness, more mint. It's going to be amped up by 2. Okay, so it's going to be like an extrait version of whatever Shama Wad gives you there, although they're two completely different fragrances. So that was what I had for you guys today. I was talking about Amoroso by Amberley, the Amberley collection by Maison Alhambra, and this particular one is called Amoroso. If I manage to get the blue one of my supplier and the black one, I will surely bring it to you here, because I know you guys, want to know about these fragrances. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me. This is what we were talking about. If you haven't subscribed, please do consider subscribing, guys. I would appreciate that. And again, for those who want to see the packaging, this is how it looks. The fragrance sits like this, okay, like this. Okay, obviously I wouldn't leave it like that, it's gonna fall, but this is how the fragrance looks like. So yeah, Amoroso of Maison Alhambra's Amoroso of their Amberley collection. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if you want to share it, and do turn on post notifications so that you're notified anytime I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.